Guns. They have shaped history, changed the course of wars, and defined entire eras of technology. But what happens if we fast forward in, let's say, 200 years? Will bullets be replaced by energy beams or even plasma? Will firearms become intelligent, personalized tools or something beyond recognition? Well, in this video, we're diving into the future of firearms, exploring the wild possibilities that science, technology, and imagination could bring. So, lock and load because the future of firepower is here to blow your mind.
Nowadays, we have an extensive variety of weapons in all shapes, sizes, and calibers. So to keep this video concise, I will focus on all the potential futuristic weapons that might make their way to the battlefields of the near future. Directed energy weapons, commonly known as lasers, encompass a wide range of armaments with purposes ranging from taking down simple homemade drones or suppressing riots as a non-lethal measure to car-sized devices capable of melting moving fighter jets from kilometers away. So, how do they work? Laser weapons work by emitting highly concentrated beams of coherent light generated by high-energy lasers. This process begins with the creation of light in an active medium, such as a crystal, gas, liquid, or optical fiber, which is energized using electricity or chemical reactions. Keep this info in mind because it will be relevant later. The emitted light is amplified through mirrors in an optical cavity, ensuring it is coherent, meaning all the light waves have the same wavelength and travel in phase. Once amplified, the light is channeled and directed through specialized lenses or mirrors to form an extremely focused beam. This beam is so intense that, upon impact, it transfers massive amounts of energy to a very small area in just milliseconds. Upon impact, the laser beam generates extreme heat that can burn, melt, or vaporize the target material. For example, in metallic materials, the thermal energy can cause localized melting, structural weakening, or perforations. In electronic systems, the laser can disable sensitive components by overheating them or destroying lenses and optical sensors. Additionally, depending on the laser's wavelengths, such as infrared, visible, or ultraviolet, it can also cause secondary effects, such as blinding cameras or optical sensors over an area much larger than the impact point. The primary advantages of lasers include their impact speed, as lasers travel at the speed of light basically, making them ideal for intercepting fast-moving targets such as missiles, drones, or projectiles. They also stand out for their surgical precision, allowing them to target a specific objective without damaging surrounding areas, and their low operational cost as they do not rely on physical ammunition, only electrical or chemical energy to function.
Moreover, they are unaffected by external factors like gravity or wind, which significantly enhances their effectiveness over long distances. Laser weapons are also silent during operation, reducing the likelihood of detection, and are highly versatile, with adjustable power levels for non-lethal purposes, such as disabling sensors or temporarily blinding effects. So, with so many advantages, why aren't we seeing significant progress in their use for portable weapons? Well, basically because of a few but very important drawbacks. To start with, these devices require vast amounts of energy to function properly. Additionally, while they are highly accurate and with the right energy supply could become formidable weapons of war, laser weapons in general lack the power necessary to rival fire guns for use in any kind of personal armament. In my humble opinion, I believe they will remain relegated to non-lethal uses, so to speak, such as point defense systems, riot control, destruction of light vehicles, and perhaps in heavier forms as some kind of cannon in the future. But I do not want to belittle or underestimate this technology. Who knows what possible advantages could occur in the coming years that would position directed energy weapons as possible successors to current firearms. As a curious fact, I would say that the most ideal representation of laser weapons is, without a doubt, the lasguns from Warhammer 40k. The laser weapon, or lasgun as it is called, is the standard issue weapon of the Astra Militarum, valued for its reliability, ease of maintenance, and virtually unlimited ammunition potential.
Unlike projectile weapons, its power pack can be recharged via sunlight, energy sources, or even a campfire, ensuring continuous use in prolonged battles. Though individually weaker than bolters or plasma guns in its universe, the last gun excels in massed fire, with coordinated volleys capable of overwhelming enemies including lightly armed hordes or even power-armed targets when focused on weak points. Its adaptability allows for various attachments, power settings, and even an overcharge function for increased performance. Cheap to produce and easy to standardize, the last gun remains the backbone of the Imperium's war machine, proving that sheer numbers can rival superior firepower. Just imagine if we had these bad boys in real life. Yikes. Hi, plasma weapons. One of the most iconic technologies in science fiction. Featured in legendary universes like Star Wars, Halo, and Warhammer 40k. These weapons share a defining trait: unmatched destructive power. From compact pistols to devastating assault rifles, they are portrayed as capable of dismembering or vaporizing a human being with a single shot. Unlike traditional firearms, plasma weapons don't use solid ammunition. Instead, they unleash gas projectiles heated to millions of degrees, often accompanied by side effects like mini EMP pulses upon impact. So, how do they actually work? And how could we implement them in real life? Plasma is often called the fourth state of matter, alongside solid, liquid, and gas. It is created when a gas is heated to extremely high temperatures or exposed to strong electromagnetic fields, causing its atoms to ionize. This process strips electrons from their nuclei, resulting in a highly energetic mix of positively charged ions and free electrons. Plasma is electrically conductive and emits light, making it useful in applications such as neon lighting, welding, and fusion research. But that's not what really matters. What we want to know here is how feasible and realistic is the widespread or specialized use of this technology by soldiers in the near future. First and foremost, is there any government or private company actively developing plasma-based weaponry? Unfortunately, no, at least not for direct weaponization. While projects like Plasma Acoustic Shield System and Plasma Cutters exist, none of them are specifically designed for military applications. This is mainly due to the major challenges such weapons would face. To start, they would require ridiculous amounts of energy to function. Let's say we want to fire a 10-gram plasma projectile at 3 kilometers per second, similar to the velocity of a sniper rifle round. Well, in that case, the kinetic energy required would be around 45,000 joules per shot. If the weapon fired, let's say, 10 shots per second, it would need 450 kilowatts of power. To put this into perspective, that's 450 times the power consumption of a household microwave, nearly the same power as a high-performance electric train, and thousands of times more than a conventional firearm, which typically uses less than 100 joules per shot. All of this in addition of complex cooling systems and a way to sustain a magnetic field around the plasma projectiles to maintain their shape after being fired. These systems would have to be developed almost entirely from scratch. That being said, if a well-funded company or government were to seriously purpose the development of plasma-based weaponry or devices, would it be possible? Absolutely, my boy. The first thing that needs to be done is to solve the most common and important problems preventing plasma weapons from becoming a reality. These range from the extreme amounts of energy required for them to function, the methods for containing and stabilizing the plasma, cooling systems, and maximum range, to the generation and direction of the shot. As you can see, one innovation after another would be needed. Starting with the necessary power systems, there are two options. Either we design batteries capable of supplying the massive energy demands, or we directly implement some kind of mini nuclear reactors on board the weapons. And let me tell you something. The closest thing we have to producing functional reactors is ITER, a nuclear fusion reactor the size of an apartment complex founded by some of the most powerful and developed nations in the world. As of the date of this video, it is still under construction, and while it was initially expected to be first tested in 2025, technical and logistical problems have pushed that date closer to 2045. By the way, this mega project is technically an experiment, so yeah, in terms of using mini reactors in the near future, we cannot use mini reactors in the near future. This makes batteries a much more feasible power source, although they would have to be the most powerful batteries in existence or be made from some miracle material like graphene to handle the insane performance these weapons would require. And even then, problems like weight, energy density, rechargeability, and overall durability would still need to be solved. Now, let's say we somehow overcome these challenges. We would still need to figure out how to keep the plasma projectile stable after being fired, and in general, how the ballistics of such a weapon would even work. Because technically, it is still a bullet, or isn't it? That brings us to another issue. How would plasma maintain its shape? Well, from what I've found, the most efficient way would be to somehow make the plasma carry its own electromagnetic field, keeping it stable long enough to reach its target. And of course, we can't forget the cost and maintenance I mentioned earlier that this technology would require. Let's imagine we actually managed to create plasma weapons in real life. Well, they would be so expensive that would likely only be used by special forces or in highly strategic operations that justify their development. But hey, this is just my opinion, and since I don't want to end this video on such a pessimistic note, I will say that only time will tell what kind of innovations the future will bring. Maybe there will be a major breakthrough in nuclear fusion that speeds up the development of these weapons, or maybe with enough time and effort we will eventually create them. Firearms, as an example, had been actively developed for centuries, evolving from simple muskets to modern assault rifles, so what isn't possible in the long run? Electromagnetic weapons are widely known in science fiction as the direct evolution of modern conventional firearms. Instead of propelling a projectile using combustion of chemical propellants like gunpowder, these weapons accelerate projectiles using electromagnetic fields, offering numerous advantages over traditional firearms such as significantly higher muzzle velocities, faster rates of fire, and the use of caseless ammunition, meaning the projectile doesn't require a casing or gunpowder, just a bullet itself. Theoretically, this type of weapon could be applied to all calibers and would be much more powerful than its traditional counterparts. Currently, there are two designs that have shown great promise in their military development, the Gauss Cannon and the Railgun. Also known as coil gun, the Gauss Cannon is an advanced electromagnetic weapon that uses a series of coils to accelerate metallic projectiles to high velocities without relying on chemical propellants. Its operation involves passing an electric current through each coil, generating a magnetic field that propels the projectile forward. As the projectile moves, the coils are activated and deactivated in a precise sequence, ensuring continuous acceleration until the projectile exits the barrel. The advantages of such technology are: it operates silently as it involves no explosions or chemical reactions. It's highly versatile, capable of firing various metallic projectiles. It's capable for different applications, from portable weapons to large stationary systems, and can operate in extreme environments such as outer space or underwater. The most important drawbacks are high energy consumption, overheating issues after prolonged use, and complex synchronization of coils for smooth acceleration. Despite these challenges, the Gauss Canyon represents a revolutionary advancement in weaponry, combining efficiency, precision, and innovation into a promising tool for future applications. Gauss canyons are particularly promising for space applications due to their ability to operate without chemical propellants. They could be used for satellite defense, debris removal, or even as propulsion systems for spacecraft. The scalability of this technology also opens up possibilities for larger systems mounted on ships, vehicles, or stationary defense platforms, delivering high-velocity projectiles without requiring explosives. The future of Gauss canyons is focused on providing their practicality and expanding their applications. Miniaturization efforts, for example, aim to make Gauss canyons more portable and suitable for use as personal weapons or attachments for drones. Advances in energy storage systems are expected to reduce the power demands of these weapons, enabling even higher rates of fire and longer operational times without the need for large power sources. Integration with advanced targeting systems such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality could significantly enhance their accuracy and effectiveness in combat scenarios. Now, let's see the real-world applications. DARPA has been conducting research on electromagnetic weapons, including Gauss canyons, to explore their potential for next-generation weaponry. While railguns often receive more attention, Gauss technology remains a key area of interest. Obvious communities worldwide are also experimenting with small-scale Gauss canyons for educational and entertaining purposes. For example, as Ian McKellen does in Forgotten Weapons, where he tests real-life electromagnetic weapons, in quotes, because, these things barely apply as toys if we compare them with actual firearms, but we have to remember that these are the very first steps of the technology, and anyway, these contribute to the development. Universities such as MIT and Stanford have engaged in research projects on electromagnetic propulsion, investigating its use in military and civilian contexts, including industrial applications and defense systems. Space agencies like NASA are studying electromagnetic systems for potential use in cost-effective space launches and orbital debris deflection. Companies are exploring the use of Gauss technology in commercial and industrial settings such as cargo acceleration and manufacturing processes. The railgun is an electromagnetic weapon that uses two parallel conductive rails and a high-speed electric current to launch a projectile at extreme velocities. It operates on the principle of the Lorentz force in the same way as the Gauss canyon does, where the interaction between an electric current and magnetic fields accelerates the projectile forward. Unlike traditional firearms, railguns do not rely on chemical propellants either, setting them apart as a breakthrough in weaponry. The railgun concept was first theorized in the early 28th century, but practical experimentation began much later due to technological limitations. The first significant test took place in the 1970s, with researchers exploring electromagnetic propulsion. The US Navy became leader in railgun research, heavily investing in the technology during the 2000s. Notable contributions came from defense contractors like General Atomics and BAE Systems. Other nations, including China and Russia, have also made progress, claiming operational prototypes, though their advancements remain less transparent. Railguns could transform future weaponry, offering applications such as achieving extreme range and speed for precise long-distance shots, perfect for sniping. The ability of penetrating armored targets or structures with hypervelocity rounds, perfect for anti-material purposes. It is functional in environments where chemical-based firearms are less effective, like outer space or underwater scenarios, just like the Gauss Canyon. It is exceptional at range and precision, with minimal projectile drop, offers reduced logistical complexity due to the non-explosive ammunition. It has the versatility to fire a variety of projectiles, and, this one is hilarious, it has the potential to launch projectiles at speeds of Mach 7 or higher, my boy. In comparison, the muzzle velocity of a .50 BMG projectile fired from a Barrett M82 is approximately 2.5 Mach, so yeah, that's insane. But despite all the advantages of this technology, it still has some significant drawbacks. Let's take a look at them. Significant energy demands requiring advanced power sources along with rapid rail wear due to the extreme forces and heat. In addition, the size and weight are currently impractical for small-scale or portable systems, and there are major challenges in managing the heat generated during operation. The best current example we have is the railgun platform from the US Navy's Research Lab, which is an advanced electromagnetic weapon designed to fire hypervelocity projectiles without the use of chemical propellants. It typically uses projectiles around 155 mm in caliber and accelerates them to speeds of Mach 6 to Mach 7, achieving ranges of 100 miles or 160 kilometers. Each projectile weighs approximately 10 kilograms. The railgun operates with a pulse power system capable of delivering 20 to 32 megajoules of energy per shot, with 1 megajoule being equivalent to the kinetic energy of a one-ton vehicle traveling to 160 kilometers per hour. The weapon requires substantial electricity provided by advanced shipboard power systems like the Integrated Power System or IPS used on some Walt-class destroyers. In addition, the system is cost-efficient, with each hypervelocity projectile costing around $25,000 to $50,000, significantly less than traditional guided missiles, which often cost millions. Considering the advantages and disadvantages that the electromagnetic weapons bring to the table, I personally consider them to be very good candidates to become the weapons of the near future. Well guys, that's all for today's video. In order to keep it from being too technical, I left out a lot of information, so if you think I should have mentioned something about any of the points I discussed, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment box. I'll be keeping an eye out to reply. I also want to say that this is the video that took me the longest to make out of all the ones I've done so far, so if you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribed. So, without anything else to say, bye bye.